The Krebs Custom KV13, let's check it out. Krebs Custom is known for taking good quality AK-47 rifles and completely transforming them into a state-of-the-art firearm. One of the things about Mark Krebs is his attention to detail, and he started out in 1985 accurizing 1911s, and if you've ever messed around with 1911s, there's a lot of precise work that needs to be done, and he translated that in 2000 to the AK-47 platform. These rifles are hand finished, they're hand polished, the barrels are crowned. I mean, there's a lot of incredible details that go into making this rifle what it is. This is the KV13 Mod 2. There's a number of different things they've done with these rifles. I have reviewed a number of Krebs Custom rifles, and I have never been disappointed. Now, what's really unique about this rifle in particular is, we're not just going over a bunch of features, we're going over the improvement of a bunch of features. And, there's a lot of cool things about the AK that is just legendary. It's just a great rifle. They're very robust. They keep going no matter what. They just are made for battle implements. But this is the refinement. And there are just some things that are done to this rifle that really just, again, bring it up into the 21st century and beyond. Of course, first thing we're going to do is make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to remove the magazine. Chamber is empty. To me, one thing that Krebs Custom does is they take a rifle and they say, let's make this the best rifle it can be. And then they just take care of it, no expense spared. I mean, the hand fitting, the finish, everything. And that's really what you're getting. You're getting a custom built AK-47 or AK-74 rifle. And these are guys that really pay attention to the details. Now, we looked at the magazine and I removed it. You'll notice this little plate right here, and this is part of their speed load system. The magazine just naturally fits. It just guides it into the mag well. One of the things about the AK, obviously, is it's just an open mag well. And, you can get the technique down to get that in very consistently. But this definitely helps a lot in guiding it. And it is a Krebs Custom piece. It's even got a stamp there. And with that being said, these rifles are all dehorned. I mean, there are no sharp edges anywhere. One of the things about a standard AK is that they have some sharp edges just where the finishing is done. And to go in and to repolish and cut those corners takes time, takes a lot of effort. But that's what's been done to these rifles. I mean, there is nothing sharp. Even the charging handle right here, it's really smooth, easy to grab hold of. When you're pulling it back, there's nothing that catches you. Another thing is, it's just super smooth. And that has a lot to do, again, with just the internal polishing. Now, the Krebs Mark 6 Enhanced Safety is one thing that I love. In fact, I have this on a number of different AK-47 rifles. Just taking your trigger finger, you can disengage your safety, makes it really easy. If you're going to bring it up, you can just pop it up. It gives you a little bit extra instead of having to move your hand to this area up here. And I think that's definitely a big plus. It's super smooth, which a lot of AKs, those can be kind of tough. But this is a really great feature. And now another thing too is when you bring your bolt back, you can engage your safety and it locks into place. Now with the bulge here, this denotes that it is a Vepr. Unfortunately, as many of you know, Veprs are no longer being allowed to be imported into the US or any Russian parts and guns. Because of that, Krebs originally had switched to the Bulgarian Arsenal rifles, but now I think they're doing some Polish rifles as well. And the Polish WPB rifles are excellent. Cold hammer forged barrels and just a really good solid rifle. Now this is the UFM, which is, there's a long and a short version. This is the long version. It is in key mod. These are made by Krebs Custom. They're very lightweight, they're thin, they just feel great in the hand. And again, they have that Krebs coat finish on it, which is a baked on finish, but it is impervious to the elements. In fact, one thing they like to say is it makes it waterproof. And they're very durable finishes. I did a full review on installing one of these on one of my Vepr rifles, and I'll have it linked right here for you to look at. But this is a really cool system that's very stable. In fact, there's a Picatinny rail that runs on top. This, actually you pinch and pull this out and it pops right out. It's a real simple way, but this is mounted to where you can mount an optic on here and get repeat accuracy. So it's a very solid, locked in position. There are pins in each place that keep this in. And so a very nice piece, and here you can see the Krebs Custom logo. And they do a lot of, again, their own parts. The gas block is a Krebs Custom gas block as well. It's the originals have been removed, and then they've inserted their own with their sight towers, which are more like the AR-15, and it actually has an AR-15 style post right here that you can use an AR-15 sight tool, which matches with the A2 rear sight on the back. And this is fully adjustable. We're going to look a little bit at how this can be mounted and still retain accuracy when we break down the rifle. One thing I love about the A2 sight on the dust cover is that it gives you a much longer sight radius. When you bring that rear sight all the way up to halfway to the rifle, it really decreases the sight radius to your front sight. Another excellent feature is this little scope or sight mount. This fits right into your rear sight. We can use a red dot, we can use a low mounted scope and be able to put this on here. I was using one of the MRO, Trijicon MROs, and it was just excellent. I mean, it holds well. In fact, this is 4140 steel. It's not aluminum. It's locked in solid. You can see the screw right here, even with a pin. So this mount will give you repeatable accuracy over and over. Now here we have the IMS, or the interchangeable muzzle system. It's made very similar to the mounting system of an AK. It has the little pin that comes out, but it is right-hand thread. So it's not the Russian left-hand thread, which makes it a little bit, just takes a little bit of getting used to if you're used to screwing on right-hand threads. This cover, obviously, comes right off. This is more of a compensator, and then you have your flash hider. It's the 4-prong. It does ping a little bit, which these 4 prongs allow for really great flash hiding. One thing too about these threads is there are a number of silencer companies that this is thread adaptable. So you can just thread on your suppressor, it locks into this little detent, and you're ready to go without having to purchase an adapter. And then of course it's real easy to screw on, it's knurled. This in itself is a really fine piece. And the underneath is filled in, which allows for some compensation with the muzzle. Now the barrel originally was just over 16 inches. They cut it down to 14.5. They pin and weld the muzzle brake on here, so it makes it a shorter package, and yet you still have your 16-inch barrel length. Now when the Veprs are imported into the US, they have this slant cut on the receiver, and it's more for your sporting style, where the trigger guard itself is brought back into this area right here. Once Krebs gets it, they take and move the trigger guard up to the proper place for your more military style with your pistol grip, and then they add their custom adapter. And this is a very well made piece that fits. In fact, this is fitted just right to the receiver. You do have your QD points here, and you have one on the other side. They are using the BCM end plate, which has a QD point at the back. Then we have a mil-spec buffer tube. The castle nut has been properly staked as well, so that's going to give you a lot of durability. And here you can see the Krebs Custom logo right here on the top. The trigger pull is one of the excellent points of this rifle. It's fairly light. Right there. It was a very smooth take up and then a crisp break. Reset right there. So let's take a look at that trigger one more time. Look at that. And it is super smooth. I would like to test the trigger pull on here. I would say 3 pounds. but my Lyman trigger gauge has bit the dust and I haven't got a replacement yet. Now, placing a sight on the back dust cover is not something new. It's been done a number of times, but the problem is the dust covers tend to rattle. The way they're fit, this dust cover has been locked in. And we're going to take a look at that as we remove the dust cover. We're going to look at the insides of the rifle. One thing you'll notice is this mount is riding low, but still allows you to take off your dust cover. One thing they do right away is they beef up the back of the dust cover. You can see this part. This actually helps for it to fit closer into the receiver. There has been some modifications here also to the guide rod, but that is a proprietary thing with Krebs Custom, and it's a secret. So we're going to go ahead and remove the guide rod and the spring. We're going to remove our bolt carrier and our bolt. Krebs uses the AGL trigger for these builds, which is a good trigger in itself, but all of the surfaces have been polished. They've been radial cut. Everything has been just hand finished. Even the pins that run through the trigger, all those have been polished. One thing they do with the receivers is they throw them in a big tumbler, and this just gets all the rough edges, all the burrs, everything. So even the inside of this receiver is smooth and there are no edges. They do have one of the Krebs Custom end plates just to hold the trigger, just to hold it solidly into place. But here you can see that trigger. It is, guys, I'm telling you, it is so smooth. So much different than your standard AK. One thing they've done also is they polished and trued the front of your bolt. And that makes it really smooth. It's going to actually aid in reliability. And guys, while a lot of people will try this at home, sometimes your surfaces are very important. You know, you shouldn't be taking off a lot of material. And that's one thing about the Krebs Custom is they know how much material to take off that's proper. Here's a little closer look at the barrel and the trunnion. These are chrome lined, and also the gas tube is also chrome lined as well. Let's go ahead and reassemble. Now the fitting is really tight, especially on the dust cover, which we're really wanting. And because of the finish here, it takes a little bit of getting used to bring this together. There we go, all set. Guys, this dust cover is just rock solid. The weight on the rifle with a magazine, 9 pounds, 1.8 ounces. One thing's for sure, this is not a light rifle. Now guys, taking a Krebs Custom rifle out to the range is a unique experience. You've got all the controls of the AK-47, but you don't have all the sharp edges. I mean, the smoothness of the action, the trigger is just, you know, so crisp, and, you know, even inserting magazines, it's just a real different experience than your typical AK-47. You get your standard Magpul furniture, which makes it nice. It's nice to be able to adjust that stock, you know, rather than just have the same wood stock. Because of the speed plate, inserting the magazine is really nice. The safety, being able just to engage that safety, it's smooth, it's not heavy. The sights are definitely an improvement over your standard AK sights with the aperture and then the front post, and easy to, you know, adjust. The gun is just, I know I sound like I'm a huge fanboy, but I am. The one thing about Krebs is they look through every detail. And I'll tell you this though, if you ever get a Krebs Custom, you're going to be happy. Your pocketbook might hurt a little bit, but you'll be happy.
You said it would. It will not.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah, that is sweet. I needs one. I really do.
As far as accuracy goes, starting out, we're shooting a little bit to the left. This is with the Trijicon MRO red dot. Then again, you can see a little bit to the left. I started kind of focusing in and getting my alignment right, or my windage right. And then here, and then here. Now we were using some of the Wolf Performance 123 grain full metal jacket, and this is steel cased. Also using the Trijicon MRO red dot. These are solid optics. I love these. And I got this at opticsplanet.com. They do offer a 5% Such 00 discount. Now let's talk about pros and cons. First off, the rifle is meticulously assembled. The parts are some of the best parts for the AK platform in the world. Because of that, the retail price on these, or typically what you'll find them for, is about $1,950. Most AK guys that are specifically, that just love the AK rifle, one of the appeals of the AK is that it's a very inexpensive rifle, and it's inexpensive to operate. You know, the steel cased ammunition is pretty inexpensive. But if you're looking for something that is exceptional and you love the AK platform, this matches any other of your modern rifles out there. I mean, for the features and with the way this thing is put together, it honestly exceeds it with all the hand finishing. The other thing about that price is that they can't keep these in stock. So, you know, you can take that as you want to, but this is a dream rifle. And if you want the top of the top, in fact, I can't think of anything that's on this rifle that wouldn't be my dream AK rifle. I mean, there's just nothing there. So that just says a lot in itself. So what we're going to do is, talking about pros and cons, the price could be a con for some, but then again, you know, it's really just what it is. You're getting quality, and that comes at a cost. Now, as far as the pros go, polished, hand-finished trigger, hand-finished pieces. You know, the barrel is just a really excellent barrel. The muzzle brake system is very effective, and yet it's convertible if you want to go with more flash hiding capability. I love the sight system. I mean, I love it. I love the rear sight giving you that extra sight relief. I love this mount right here to be able to put on a red dot, which what I would typically run on an AK rifle. The smoothness, being deburred in every area. It does come with 2 P-mags, and then of course with your Magpul furniture, the solid lockup here. There's just, and then the finish. The finish is beautiful. It has that satin kind of Krebs coat finish, and it's just very nice. So really, overall, the rifle itself is just exceptional. One little con would be that if you're looking for M-LOK, it only comes in the key mod. You know, that might be something. As far as the weight, it is a little heavier because of the features that it has on it. But overall, this rifle is a 9.9 in my opinion. I mean, it is just that nice. And they're very reliable. They're accurate. They're made, you know, like a Wilson Combat 1911, except in an AK-47 rifle. So guys, honestly, in my experience, there is nothing that even comes close really to what Krebs puts together. And I'm going to have to give that a big thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. .1985 accurizing. Drop that magazine. A2 style rear sight. Well, I'm gonna look at that last. But also with just trimming up and polishing. He is producing rifles that he wants you to. He is producing rifles that are just. Here's a little bit of a look. Here's a closer look at the barrel and the trunnion. The barrel has been...
Shoot this rubber dummy in the face.